Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm JP Tong, and welcome to today's program, Detox Your Mind. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I'll be talking about loving yourself. Well, a lot of times we think that we actually love ourselves very much and perhaps take care of ourselves very well. But have we ever actually taken a step back to really understand whatever that we're doing for ourselves because we think or we believe that we love ourselves, that's why we're doing certain things, are they actually beneficial for us? So, my question is this. So, are you loving yourself the right way? Okay, are you loving yourself the right way? Are you loving yourself in a way that will benefit you ultimately? Or are you loving yourself in a way that you are spoiling yourself? And although you know that, it may not lead you to a better place later on, but you still want to do it. Okay, so these are certain questions that we can ask ourselves because, well, I think it's good to take some time out to understand on a deeper level what loving yourself is about. Like last week, I spoke about loving others and really take a good look what you mean by love in general. Okay? So, when we say that, okay, I want to love myself better, I want to do certain things for myself so that I can ultimately become happier. Most people want to be happy or happier, right? Excuse me. So we will do things that will make us happier. Okay, so no matter what situations we're in, no matter how other people have treated us, we will try to react in a way that will help us stabilize. Okay, help us stabilize our emotions, stabilize the way we think, stabilize the way we process whatever has happened uh, in front of us, or whatever has happened to certain situations that are related to us in one way or another. So the mind is geared towards always stabilizing whatever situations or whatever experiences that we perceive. So that we can ultimately have some sort of peace and return to a state of happiness. So my question is this: the happiness and the peace that you are experiencing, are they momentary or are they permanent? If it is momentary, then it is a sign that whatever it is that we think leads us to a sense of happiness and peace may not be the way, may not be the method. Because why? Because happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is not a reaction, it is a state of mind where we maintain that stability, that peace, and that happiness regardless of what happens in front of us. Okay, it is that stability and that peace. All right, so that's why there's always this analogy whereby you want to develop a state of mind that's like the water in the lake. So when the wind blows, you see that on the top of the lake there's a ripple, but below the ripple it is very still and very calm. So the mind can actually the mind, sorry, can actually achieve that state. So although if there, although if there's a storm out there and so or a hurricane, yeah, there's a lot of turbulence on the surface, but below that, it's very still and very calm. So how do we actually achieve that? And that is a state of calmness, that peace, and that state of happiness that I'm talking about. Okay, yes, it is very profound, but it's achievable. It is achievable because why? There are people out there who have achieved that state of mind, and that's why when they write books, about their journey, about their life, it's very inspiring. And the reason why it's inspiring to us is because it resonates in us. Because deep down, when things resonate within us, deep down, we know that's the truth. That's the truth, and that is something that we would like to achieve or like to realize. So the good news is, it's that is a natural state of mind. Okay, that state of mind that I'm talking about, that stillness, the calm, the clarity, that is actually innate in us. It's just that we have not habituated ourselves to reconnect to that state of mind. Okay? So, first question you need to ask is this: do you truly want to be happy? And how bad do you want to be happy? How bad? That is the key here, because if we want it bad enough, we want it bad enough, so bad that we will do whatever it takes to rehabituate ourselves and adopt new habits. Okay? We will adopt new habits that will be beneficial for us ultimately. That is why we always have to ask ourselves, do we want it bad enough? If you're not sure, just like in life, if there's something that if there's a goal that you want to achieve and you're not sure, and you always say, well, it would be nice if I have it, maybe or not, then most likely you won't achieve. Most likely you won't go through the changes that the you won't adopt new tools, and you won't go through a lot or put in a lot of effort to achieve and succeed in that specific goal. Okay, so the key question is this: do I want it bad enough? Do I want to be happy? Do I want to be happier? And I want it so bad that no matter what it takes, I will do it. I will do it. Okay, so that's the first question you ask yourself. So if you say, yes, I want it bad enough, congratulations. Okay, but if you don't, and you're kind of contented, and you're tolerating your current situation, tolerating, then perhaps after this talk, you may want to reconsider. All right, so now, so if you want to know, if you want to be happy or happier, and you really want it so badly, well, there are a few things we need to understand, or a few steps we need to take. And what are they? Well, number one is this: take a look at our current habits. Okay, are our current habits ultimately beneficial for us, or are they something that is good for now, and then deep down you kind of know that actually, there's something that I want to do, but I just can't help it, right? So how many times are we always in that situation whereby I would like to, but I cannot help it? All right, it's fine. The first step is acknowledge it, that okay, so this habit is something that is not ultimately beneficial for me. Take note of that. Take note of that. Okay, but what are the other habits that are beneficial for me? What are they? Okay, it can be your persistence. All right, so whatever that you set yourself to do, you're very persistent, you're very consistent with it, and you will go for it until you achieve. And that is a very good habit. Yeah, or you are very resourceful, you never take no as an answer, and whatever it comes your way, you will find a solution. So that's a good habit. Another habit is perhaps like you are very responsible, um, responsible for yourself, responsible for others. So that sense of responsibility is so strong. That is actually a very good habit as well. And there's so many other habits that that are very, very beneficial. Perhaps If you're a person who is always very giving, giving in a way that you have a soft spot for people who are in need, and that is good as well. Because why? Because when we are very giving and very selfless, that is the true nature of our mind. That is the authentic nature of the mind. Okay, that is why everything that we do that is opposite of that. Okay, personal pursuits for selfish reasons, reasons. Selfish is a very strong negative word. So perhaps very self-driven reasons, whereby it is self-centric. Okay, self-centric. You do things to benefit yourself. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so if you're doing things to benefit yourself and your family, your family is an extension of yourself. So that itself is also considered self-centric. Okay, when you pursue activities, goals that are driven opposite from being selfless, you will always feel very stressed. Well, because of challenges in life, you will feel very stressed because of situations, people, and even with yourself. And no matter how much you pursue, it is never ever enough. Okay, be it your career, your finances, your relationship with your family members, it can be your romantic relationships as well. See, these are all self-centric. It's an extension of your pursuit for the self. That's why it's self-centric. Okay, but if you do things for others, people whom you do not know, people whom are not related to you, that is an act of selflessness. And when we reconnect to that act of selflessness, if those of you have done that, you will feel a sense of peace, fulfillment, joy, and satisfied. That is the real peace and happiness that we're talking about. Because why? You're reconnecting with your true self. So when you realize that, and for some of you, you may think, oh my goodness, there's a lot of work. You see, you may think like that. It's because you're habituated by your self-centric um, activities. Okay, yourself, because you're so used to it. So everything that we do that is not out of our current habit will require a lot of effort. Okay, that is why when I teach meditation, and many people go, oh my goodness, I don't think I can meditate. It's because who actually sits there for a few minutes and just do nothing and just breathe. That's what meditation is. So you focus on your breathing. But you see, you don't realize that actually, well, we are doing it anyways. It's just that when we sit, our mind is always wandering here and there. So meditation, as you know, have a lot of benefits. Okay, it is about controlling the mind, and which I will explain why it's so beneficial, especially when you want to understand how to love yourself the right way. All right, so number one, so going back to what I've said, what benefits? So understand which habits of yours is ultimately beneficial and which of yours are not. Okay, and number two, again, we all have fears and insecurities. Okay, so what are your fears about? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of losing face? Are you afraid of being vulnerable to others? Are you afraid of taking risk in life? Are you afraid of confronting people, upsetting people? Because yeah. So what are your fears? And what are your insecurities? What are you insecure about? So, and some people, when they join my workshop after this, during the workshop, they will say, "Oh, no, I don't have any fears. I'm very happy. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I can let go, um, and so on and so forth. And I don't have any insecurity. So it's like I'm, I'm okay. I'm okay." So then I said, "Well, fine, wonderful. But let's see what happens during the course. Okay, but so during the course, then more things arise because why? Because once you practice mindfulness, once you practice mindfulness, you will be able to catch yourself and go, oh, wait a minute, where did that come from? Okay, so when you say that you don't have insecurities and you don't have fears, check in with your mind. Think back. When people say certain things that we do not like, it will trigger a raw nerve and we will react. Either we react openly or we react passively. Passively can be, you just hold on to it and you suppress that anger, that rage, that unhappiness. You're so upset, but you just don't want to show because you're not the type of person who actually likes to confront. So you just hold on to your emotions and pretend that everything is fine. So whatever it is, you see, these are some of the ways that we try to stabilize ourselves when we do not know how to handle situations and people. And that's how the mind works. Because the mind is always trying to make yourself more at peace and more joyful. So either you suppress your feelings so that you can stabilize it and be at peace, or you go into a denial mode, or you lash it out on people. And there are many, many ways of how people, uh, of how people process things, situations, and experiences that they do not like. So when we understand that part, then we can actually, that's where mindfulness training comes in. Okay, so be aware of your fears and insecurities, and then we will use mindfulness training to focus on what is more beneficial for you, the new habits to adopt that are more beneficial for you. All right. And other aspects of loving yourself is, have you actually check in with yourself? How's your health condition doing? What steps have you taken to take care of your body? So it's not just about the mind, but also about the body, and they're all interconnected. Okay, so how our health condition, how our what's the level of our or the status of our health condition is actually a reflection of our state of mind. Okay, that's why when people who are very always very stressed, well, there are certain, it will manifest in your health. You can be going through certain heart palpitations. You can do perhaps have high blood pressure and insomnia, and perhaps you have hormonal imbalance. There are many, many reasons. So the doctor will always ask you, are you under a lot of stress usually? Okay, so and yeah, and then many other things. So for those of you who are always very focused on your fears and insecurities, then there are also other um, health conditions as well. You can be suffering from, let's say, um, eczema, which is very common. You can be suffering from, well, in certain cases, even cancer. It can manifest into cancer if you have this fear and insecurity about yourself, whereby you always feel that you're inadequate and you don't like yourself, and there's a lot of self-hatred. That can lead to cancer. Okay, so, well, if you don't know what your health condition is, perhaps it is best to listen to your body. Okay, there are a lot of times where we're so busy, we're so caught up with our everyday life. You feel an ache here, or you feel some numbness here, or whatever it is, that is just not normal for your body. But then you go, it's okay, it will pass, right? How many of us are actually guilty of that? So listen to your body. When you notice that there's something different, you feel different, even your sleeping pattern is different, Perhaps you don't sleep as well lately. Um, Perhaps when you eat certain things, you become allergic to it all of a sudden. So, what are the changes? What are the changes? There's always a reason why your body changes. So, it's good to check in with yourself because why? Because well, you're concerned with your body. When your health is not in a good condition, you may not have the state of mind to sit here with me every Saturday and learn to detox your mind because you'll be so busy taking care of your body. So health is again very, very important. Okay, so that is another aspect of loving yourself. Okay, and another question that you can ask yourself is, well, are you aware of what it is that you're so blessed with? Have you actually taken a good look at, at your home, your family, yourself, your body? That what are you so blessed with? What are you so blessed with? Are you very blessed with a roof over your head? Because there are hundreds of millions of people around the world who don't have homes. Okay? Are all your senses intact? Is your body okay? Because there are many people out there, who are physically challenged or who have certain parts of their body that are not functioning as well. So, are you actually grateful of all these blessings that we're surrounded with, or you're not? So again, really practice that awareness, which is what I call gratitude. So start thinking. Okay, look around. Wow, I have a clean bed to sleep in. I have clean clothes. Okay, I have fresh air, clean air. Okay, let's not say fresh, but clean air, where I don't have to keep wearing my mask, right? I have electricity. I have lights. I have a computer that I can actually stream live with all of you guys. There's so many things so many blessings that we're surrounded with. So, are we actually aware of that? And how much energy do we put in to be mindful of all these blessings that we already have? So, are we being mindful of that? So, why and why not? So, these are questions to ask yourself. Why are you mindful or why are you not mindful? Some of you say, yeah, 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 I cherish things around me, but go even deeper. Go even deeper. Because why? Like I said during my previous program, look, now that we have this pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic, every time we go out, we have to wear a mask. Every time we see people, we're like, okay, social distancing, please. We don't even shake hands. We don't give ourselves a hug. No more. No more gatherings. Nothing. And then we go, oh, how I miss the good old days. How I miss going out, not wearing my mask. It was so wonderful. How I miss just sitting there and not having to worry. So you see, when something is taken away from us, that's where we reminisce and go, oh, wasn't it good? Wasn't it good? So, and that's how the mind works. Because when we are not mindful about the blessings that we already have, once it's taken away, then we'll go, oh, it's too late, which is what's happening right now. So when we practice mindfulness, we don't have to wait for such a drastic, event to happen, whereby it's taken away from us, and then we go, oh, okay, oh, how I wish, oh, I really cherish it now. So that's a good news with mindfulness training. So you don't have to wait until that. You can already cherish it, indulge in it, and really relish wow and go, wow, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed, I have all this. So I'm going to cherish and not take it for granted from now on. From now on. Because you never know when it's going to be taken away from us. Our good health, our five senses that are working perfectly. Okay, you don't know when it's going to be taken away from us. This roof that I'm sitting under, you don't know, right? I mean, look at the United States. You know, every summer they have these forest fires, and the entire houses are all burned down. So you never know. Or in other countries, there are like tsunamis, hurricanes, and all these natural disasters. And overnight, the entire um, lifestyle changes because of that. So their homes are gone. Everything that they own are gone overnight. So you never ever know. So something to take note of, and that's something to really look into, because while loving yourself actually means taking a good look with and really sorry, not understand, but really be grateful and cherish and not take for granted everything that we are blessed with. And when you do that, that is one way of loving yourself. Okay? Do I have any questions so far? Hi Celeste, Louis, hi Louis, the King, Sharon, King Hoy, Hannah, hi Peg, Kristen, Jesse, hello Nancy, hi Kirsten, Julie, Jerry, Coughlin, Lusim, Sofan, Lily, hi Kamala, Agnes, and Audrey. Hello, thank you very much for joining, and for the rest of you whom out there, and thank you for joining. So, do you have any questions so far? Okay, well, you can still ask me the questions as I'm talking. So, practice mindfulness and understand your state of mind. What are your fears and what are your insecurities? And what are the habits that do not serve you? All right? And again, although you may not like it, practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation. All right? If you really want to learn to be happy, meditation is actually extremely beneficial, because it actually trains you to have a good grip of your mind. All right? When you control your mind to focus, and that's what it is. So if you actually suffer from lack of control, and you always say, oh, but I cannot help it. When you keep saying I cannot help it, this is a result, it is a feedback for yourself that you still have not gotten a good control of your mind. That's it. It's very simple. That's how you know whether or not you have good control of your mind. Okay? So just do, every day 5 to 10 minutes, just sit like this very comfortably and focus on your breath. And that's it. Focus on the breath going in and out of your nostril. Okay? You can actually watch the program on Mindful Morning Meditation, which I've had 100 episodes already, and you can just follow that as and when you like. Now, but do this as consistently as you can. So 5-10 minutes every day, that's all it takes. So if you want to chill, if you want to just de-stress for that moment in your office, if you're working in your office or if you're working at home, just de-stress. Time out, de-stress. Stay in a room where nobody can disturb you, and just focus for 5-10 minutes. Okay, you can be very fit, you can be fidgeting and all that. It's fine. That's because your body and your mind, again, like I say, you are having a withdrawal syndrome. And what is a withdrawal syndrome? A withdrawal syndrome is you're doing something that you don't normally do. That's why your body and your mind starts to react. You're very uncomfortable, aches and pains. It's okay. Fight it. After 1 week, I guarantee you, it will be very, very easy. You just have to break that, just overcome that hurdle. Okay? So if you can do this every day, now some of you can say, oh, I actually pray. Fine. Focus on your prayers. That's also another form of meditation. Meditation is about focusing. Just focus on your prayers. Okay? Every time when your mind wanders, bring your your focus back to your breath. And that's it. Very easy. Okay, so again, watch my program, Morning Mindfulness Meditation, and you can actually learn that very, very easy. Okay? And so your fears and insecurities and your negative habits will take a long time to overcome. Because why? We've been living so many years, you know, within these habits. So if these are my habits and I've been doing it for decades and decades and decades and decades, it will take a long time. Okay, it will take a long time to learn new habits and and kick the habits that do not serve us. It will take a while. That is why when we have a good control of our mind, we just focus on what we need to do every day so that we can develop new habits. So if you're having certain health conditions and the doctors say, well, go and exercise, and they go, maybe tomorrow. And you keep telling yourself, maybe tomorrow too. And 1 year later, it's like, oh, okay, that's my New Year resolution, right? I mean, like, how many people actually do that? So ask yourself. Two, well, if you have a habit of always procrastinating on whatever it is that you do, because you're always driven by your emotions. Oh, I'm not in the mood for this. I'm not in the mood for that. Maybe tomorrow. So if you have this habituation that you have to be in the mood for something, then you can actually, okay, you watch it like how you do in your meditation. You watch your emotions and you focus on what you need to do. You see how beneficial mindfulness training is? So you focus on what you need to do. Perhaps it's okay. Let me finish my work, although I'm working at home, and it's so relaxed. I want to take my nap. Nah, I think I better get this done first, so that my boss doesn't have a chase after me. Perhaps you can do that. Okay, so these are very mundane things that we can do that will actually benefit us. Okay, um, and and what else? And for some of you who may want to do something differently, so perhaps reading or watching videos like this on how to be a better person, how to be more selfless, how to be more stress free. So a lot of times you're always distracted. I'm going to meet my friends, I'm going to have drinks, I'm going to watch my TV and my TV series and all that. And these are all the distractions. And some of you even have hobbies. I'm going to go paint. I'm going to, ride a bike. I'm going to run, and all this. Great, it's wonderful. But because you want to learn how to adopt new habits, that will require you more time. Because why? Because you are changing your habits. You're adopting beneficial habits. So that will take time. So you got to kind of slot in that into your schedule. And sometimes some other activities may have to take a back seat for now. May have to take a back seat. Okay? Although your emotional, I'd rather go on a Zoom and chat with my friends than do something to benefit myself, right? How many of us are guilty of that? Okay, so then you go, well, maybe it's time for me to do something. Because why? Because I want to be happy. I want it so badly to be happy, and I'm sick of my New Year resolution, and it's the same thing every year. And my baby steps are so small that it's so insignificant. Maybe I want to start sprinting, whatever it is. That's why if you want it bad enough, you will put in the effort to do it. Okay, does that make sense? I think there's a question here. Hi, Roy. I have been trying to encourage my son to try to sit on breathing meditation, but unsuccessful. He's having external voice hearing from people he knows or meet at one time. So, are you saying that he's hearing voices? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, ask him to focus. Okay, it can be his imagination, because when you still your mind, okay, there are many people with different experiences. When you calm your mind and just sit there for 5-10 minutes and just focus on your breath, all right, because your mind is always very active. So there are times where your mind will start hearing things like, oh, you will start kind of like daydreaming, and sometimes you will in your mind hear voices. It can happen, okay? Or sometimes you may be thinking about someone, and it is so vivid, it is so real, and you think it is somebody external talking to you. Okay, so the child may not be able to process that or differentiate what is actually happening in the mind. So ask your son, it's okay. Just ignore whatever voices, whatever visions that he's experiencing, and just focus on the breath. And that happens. So many people have different experiences when they calm their mind. When they calm their mind, okay. If it is something that is spiritual of nature, then if it is something spiritual in nature, then even without sitting down and meditating, he should be hearing voices as well. Okay? If it is spiritual in nature, you don't have to sit down, because while meditation is literally just sitting here as I'm talking, I can be meditating. I'm just focusing on talking to you. You're just breathing. So uh, it should not be a reason why you're hearing voices. So if he's normally hearing voices, when he meditates, it's just clear and that's it. Okay. But number one is, so you're saying that he's 23 years old but unable to explain to him. Well, you can ask your son to write a comment in this program, and I can guide him. No problem. Okay. Great. So do I have any more questions? Wonderful. So before we end this program, okay, I'd like to thank today's sponsor. The first sponsor is Lam Kok Nguyen and Family. Dedication: may all participants have inner peace and happiness through this program. Second sponsor is Anonymous. Dedication: may all gain wisdom, peace, and happiness. And the third sponsor, Anonymous. Dedication: dedicated towards all beings' liberation from suffering and attainment of compassion, wisdom, and true happiness. Thank you very, very much. Now, if you like today's program, do make a contribution, because your contributions will actually help us sustain our online programs that we make available for everyone. Okay, and at the same time, like I always say, share on your own Facebook page to today's program, because you never know who out there will learn from this and benefit from this. Okay, so I will be having a workshop at 9:45, which is another 10 minutes. And if you'd like to join the workshop, where I will guide you step by step by step about what I've just spoken about, there is a Google Meet link there. Just click in, and the admin will brief you what to do. All right, so on that note, take care, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.